Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm starting already for the next interrupt. Last one we had in Worcester, we did the what do you call it, the Wi-Fi treasure hunt. So I want to kind of make it a little more challenging, a little more fun. And so basically, we're going to build a city of sorts. And so the first thing that I'm working on is the chemical plant that we'll have to defend and attack and do all the things that we do in order to learn security, but have fun with it. And so basically, I'm going to have a bunch of these jars, three of these jars, and you'll have a little tube and pump at the top, and we'll be mixing chemicals. And of course, we want to make sure that process is not vulnerable. So, one of the reasons I started Interrupt in the first place is to make technology less scary and more approachable. And I figured as I'm going through this project, I am not an electrician. I know nothing about electronics. I'm really not a coder. And so I'm learning as I go, which is very much the same for the participants who come to an Interrupt event. And so I've got a few things here that I'll show you, and I figure we can go through the process kind of together, so you can see even the mistakes that I make. I'll edit some of that stuff out, but we'll do it in installments as this goes along, so you can see the stuff come to life, and I'll share all the docs and things with you, so you can go and do this on your own. So we're going to start today with the hardware, and I'll show you how it's all wired up in some very basic code, because that's as far as I've gotten. I actually just got it to work for the first time last night. So in terms of equipment that I'm using here, I have a Raspberry Pi B Plus with a PiFace Digital 2. I didn't use an Arduino because I don't have an Arduino, so that's why. At some point, I'm sure I'll get one. I have a 12 volt battery pack, so 8 AA batteries, and a 12 volt pump. So that's really just what I started with. And then there's a list here of the different software packages that you need to have installed. So Python needs to be on there. There are a couple things for the PiFace Digital I/O, I believe it was, and PiFace Relay. I don't know, but it's on the slide. So let's take a look at what we got. All right, so here's what we've got. So this is our 12 volt pump. So you notice actually this in the bottom here, that's 3/16 of an inch rubber tubing. Got a 20-foot roll for about $5. And then this is where it comes out. I'm not going to show you right here because it's all on my desk and there's lots of electronics and I don't want water going all over the place. Now we've got the 12 volt battery pack. So it's just 8 AA batteries in there. And now what we have over here, if you look, we've got a Raspberry Pi B Plus underneath, and then the PiFace Digital 2. So the way it's connected, so number one, you can't run the pump off of the PiFace because it doesn't produce enough power. It's only 5 volts from here, so that's not enough to run the pump. That's why we need the 12 volt supply. So the way it's connected, you'll see the positive here, and then what we've got is the negative is running to these little, actually I forgot what they're called. I'm going to edit this part right out. Running in here for ground, and then also the ground from the power supply goes right in here. It's the third screw over. It's actually 2 grounds right there. So these don't handle any voltage at all, which is why it's able to pass through and run to ground. And that's actually how we'll control it. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to run any water through this now just because we're at my desk. But what I do want to make sure is, you'll hear it go on and off. But without water in there, you're going to end up burning it out. So you need to be careful not to do that. So that's it. It's pretty simple setup that I have there. Once I figured it out, that is, reading lots of things. Oh, the other thing to mention too, if you can see it here, there are jumpers here, and then there's another one here. These are 4, 5, 6, and 7. You have to remove the jumpers from the pins. on there. It can cause problems if you don't. So there we go. So now let's take a look at the code and fire this bad boy up. All right, so now let's just take a look at my quote unquote code. So if you notice, I've got two Python scripts here, pump on and pump off. I think you can pretty much guess what they do. So if we go and let's look at one of them, I'll show you what's going on. And no, I'm not afraid to type nano in there. I don't care. So here's what we have. Very straightforward. First line is just calling where Python actually lives. This next one, the module that we're importing, is to give the controls over the actual PiFace. Right here, very straightforward, creating a variable that refers to this function, and then really right here, turning on one of those outputs that where we have that ground wire that goes, that's the one that goes directly from the pump to the PiFace. That's the ground wire there. So obviously the number will change if you do it differently. And then for the off script, it's pretty much the same thing, just now what we're doing is turning it off. Yeah, you know, and the thing is the code, not the code, I'm sorry, the documentation for this on the PiFace website is pretty crap, to be honest. So if you know of any good documentation out there for that module, please let me know. So here's what we're gonna do. So let's fire this up. So we will turn this on and off. That's it. Pretty straightforward. So that's pretty much it. There'll be more added to the code. You know, there's more functionality you want to build, and even physically build something for this all to live on. So each step of the way, I'll be sure to share more on whatever documents are out there, designs that I can put together, and hopefully you can make some use of it. And of course, if you have any ideas on how you'd like to add to the scenario, write code, whatever, send your thoughts my way. It's all about collaboration. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.